Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Apples and Genos Fantasy Hockey Podcast. My name is Nate Grudniblank. I'm the creator of Apples and Genos, originator of the Zero G Draft Strategy. And in this podcast, Blake and I are going to give you all the best streamers and ad options for next week so you can start planning early. Let's get it. And of course, I have your friend and my best friend, the best man to get a beer with, Blake Creamer. Blake, how are we feeling tonight?
Thanks, buddy. I feel good. This is how we do it. It's Friday night. We're right here, buddy. All right. This feels good. It is Friday night, but you're hearing this on Saturday, so the reference makes no sense. but I'm stoked, buddy. How you doing? How's your week gone? I mean, in these fantasy hockey streets.
Yeah, last week was amazing, and in typical fantasy hockey fashion, I've been somewhat humbled this week.
Yeah.
I'm only winning one of my matchups right now. Yeah, some where people are just having like a really good week and they're crushing it, so hard to get mad about that. But also some others where my team is just not quite showing up this week, so you take the good with the bad, right? Overall, I'm still pretty happy with how things have gone so far this year. I feel like we've been on some good players. It was fun to have these big nights. Like, I know we complain about it for fantasy purposes and we can't stream when everything's a heavy night like this, but it's fun to have all these games here on Friday. And then tomorrow on Saturday, we have all these games again. Definitely some matchups out there that are going to swing big time based on these Friday, Saturday heavies.
Yeah, today was a good day for sure. I actually got to sit down and watch some of these afternoon games. It was awesome. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to you before we started the stream here. Like, I feel like every league I'm in, every win I'm getting is like I have to scratch and claw to get that victory. Nothing is easy this year. Has that been your experience as well?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't play in any like easy leagues, right? I've curated my leagues down intentionally, but yeah, I don't play in any leagues that are, devoid of people who just don't know what they're doing. There's
There's
nobody in these
killers out
leagues
there.
that are not up to date on what's happening in the league. So, yeah, I'm definitely feeling that all the time. One other thing I'm feeling, and I want to shout out, is PWHL hockey is
Oh yeah,
back,
let's
and I'm
go.
pumped about this. So it's happening on Saturday, November 30th. It's starting. I'm going to be at the game in Toronto, December the 7th next week. I'm super pumped. A bunch of people. Mark Barber, 18 Skaters, is going to be there. R33 Top Chair Fantasy, who I had on for the betting segment in the off season here, is going to be there. Some other guys as well. I'm really excited. Can't wait to see the new jerseys, the whole league. Yeah, I'm super pumped about it this year.
Can I request? I mean, can you create some type of cardboard cutout of my face and just bring it with you? I mean, is that too much to ask? And maybe for the pictures, you just put it behind, like it's like I'm there, because I didn't receive an invite, which was a little hurtful. But I feel like I'd like to be there in spirit. I don't know. Can you help me out with this, Nate?
I will see what cardboard we have available to make such a request happen.
Okay. All right. That's
All right, man. Let's get started. Let's not wait any longer to get into some newsies.
Newsies. Let's do it. We're gonna rip through this. All right. Definitely get on over to YouTube and check out this beautiful picture of Big Poppy. Oh my God, I can't even concentrate. I'm looking at that. Anyways, Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes for the Maple Leafs are going to be back on Saturday. It's great news. And yeah, the Leafs did lose Bobby McCann, so that sucks. The water boy, Bobby McCann. But yeah, get Matthews back in your lineups. And hopefully, I think he's taken so much time here to get healthy, and he's been able to. The Leafs been playing pretty good, so he should be good to go coming back. I love that. Also, sticking with the Leafs here, they're doing a 5-forward power play. This never works. Craig Berube, it doesn't work. But they got Matthew Nyes in for Morgan Riley. All right, that's fine. The Leafs power play has been a lot better as of late, so hopefully the addition of Austin Matthews, they can keep that going. Over to Vancouver, Nate and I were talking, Toronto and Vancouver. We need warm bodies here, folks. It's very painful But Philip Hronik, he's going to be out for a while with an upper body injury. He's still being assessed. But yeah, he has some shoulder issues in his history. So I think it's going to be week to week for him. That's not official yet, but he's going to be out. And then Thatcher Demko, though, in good news, sounds like he is just inching closer to a return. The good news is Kevin Lankinen is playing out of his mind. This guy's playing out of his head. So I think I saw a report from Rick Tocchet. He was just saying that Kevin Lankinen is still going to get plenty of run when Demko gets back. Like, Demko's been out for so long. They're not just going to give him this, Connor Hellebuck treatment, giving him like 70% of the starts. I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B situation with Kevin Lankinen, and they can get Archer Seelovs down just for some seasoning and get his confidence back. Because what the hell am I watching out here, Archers? Put the shirt back on. Put the pink shirt back on from the playoffs. Get your head right. Let's move on. In New York, trouble in New York. New York. Oh, God. Alicia Keys. Do you know who that is, Nate?
I am very aware of Alicia Keys.
Terrific. Oh, my God. Finally. That feels good. I'm going to, write some of these things down and create a little checklist, maybe, that we can sort of, vibe off of. Anyways, let's move on. New York Rangers spiraling currently, which stinks. Chris Kreider, chicken necks, and the macro P, Philip Hedl. These guys were both out here for the game on Friday. There's also lots of trade rumors surrounding the New York Rangers. These guys are obviously, the wheels are falling off a little bit. So Kreider's on the block, Trouba's on the block. I've heard Zibanejad name being thrown out there, Capo Caco. So yeah, it's not great times there in New York. So I don't know. That's just a piece of information for you. Nothing to do with that, but keep an eye on the status of Kreider and Philip Hedl. Over to the Islanders there in New York, Anthony Duclair is skating on his own. So, yeah, still don't know when he's going to be returning, but, boy, they could surely use him. The Islanders, man, they are just they're going into the third period with leads, and then they're losing games over and over again. Patrick Waugh's on the hot seat for sure. I mean, I don't think his job's in jeopardy, but it's not good times there on the island in New York. All right, over to Montreal. The professor, Mike Matheson, he's day-to-day, but I read a report. Sounds like he is going to suit up on Saturday, so definitely check that before the game, but I think he's going to play. Patrick Laine is also skating and closing in on a return as well. That's great news. That stunk at the beginning of the year. He looked good. I think that's definitely a player that, we're going to be excited about for fantasy. Not too excited, right? It's still the Montreal Canadiens. But I think if Patrick Laine can come out and do like a 60-point pace for the season, that's a win. That's a big win for me. 25 goal pace. That would be excellent for Patrick Laine, and a brighter future for him in Montreal moving forward as well. Let's keep going. Jonathan Drouin, buddy, this guy cannot stay healthy. What the hell? He's out week to week. I picked him up for the streamer death match. The death match just died. Okay, this is terrible, buddy. I mean, let me know if you're going to go week to week, before Monday morning. I picked you for my death match. It's very hurtful. But yeah, anyways, he's out week to week. I think, it's just going to keep Casey Middlestat. He was on power play 1 here tonight with the Avalanche. So his value is still reasonable. Lehkonen went down to power play 2 with Nuke going up to power play 1, but just keep an eye on those lines there in Colorado. Lots more opportunity for some of the players there with Drouin out. Over to Chicago, Laurent Brossoit. He's going to be out another 6 weeks. Peter Mrazek still a go. Nate's favorite player. All right, this guy's just winning Nate leagues on the regular, and you love to see it. All right. And Bedard's starting to play well. Finally. I mean, this guy's got his game going here, so I like to see that. Anyways, we're talking goalies here. Jeez. I mean, it's just a stinky position. Let's agree on that. But yeah, Pyotr Kochetkov, he's close to a return as well from his concussion there, but he's not going to play on Saturday. Could be back next week, so that's good news. Spencer Martin's holding the fort down, not very well. All right, but that's fine. Urson of the Philadelphia Flyers, he's officially day-to-day, so it's the Fedotov, Kolosov show there in Philly, and they're actually rolling. Winners of 3 of their last 4, so these guys are reasonable options, right? But they're not going to be long-term options as well. Hopefully Urson gets back sooner rather than later. He's the best of those 3, in my opinion. Sticking with goalies, Connor Ingram in Utah, he's not ready, so it's vegetable lasagna to the moon, all right? Although he got pumped tonight, but, I picked up Jackson Stauber, because there was a back-to-back. I streamed him in. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'm really smart. I'm going to get Stauber in. They just played Veg Melka for both ends of the back to back. They did
Yep.
that. Right, just tooted right in my face. Just came to my house. I'm eating a sandwich. He slapped the sandwich right out of my mouth. He's like, "No, vegetable lasagna. Here you go." Right, and I'm like, "I don't like vegetable lasagna." He's like, "Whatever, just put it in your mouth." And I'm like, "What is this, real cheese?" He's like, "No, that's vegan cheese." I'm like, "Oh God." Anyways, vegetable lasagna, Carol Melka, get him in your life. He's doing stuff right now. Sticking with the goalies, Darcy Kemper, he's skating, but he's not ready yet. So big save. Dave Riddick has decent value as well. They had their backup in. I don't even remember the backup's name. So Eric Portimimi, maybe.
Portillo.
Yeah, sure. There you go. It's Portillo. All right. That's Nate's the type of guy when he goes to a Mexican restaurant. He's like, "Yeah, can I get a quesadilla, please?" No, buddy. All right. No, it's not quesadilla. The L's are silent. All right. Maybe. I don't think he is of Latin descent. Anyways, let's carry on. Yeah, Darcy Kemper. He's going to be back sooner rather than later. I think Riddick has decent value at this point. LA's still a good goalie environment, and they're actually cooking offensively randomly. Anze Kopitar, what the hell are you doing? Anyways, we'll keep going here with Dallas. Logan Stankoven. They put some stank on it. And he was subsequently out on Friday here with an undisclosed injury, but it does sound like a minor issue. So that guy's going to be in play for you next week. Nate's going to detail that really soon, but Dallas has a great schedule. In St. Louis, Pavel Buchnevich is out. He's not practicing on Friday. So, I mean, I don't see how he plays here even this weekend. But keep an eye out on that. In Columbus, Igor Chinikov was out as well this Friday with an upper body injury. How about Kent Johnson, Nate? Are you in on this player? I do want to get your thoughts on Kent Johnson real quick because I've got him in 3 spots. I picked him up in 2 spots when he came back from injury, and then I held him in a spot when he was injured. Do you like that player?
I'm cautiously optimistic about Kent Johnson.
Yeah,
The underlying numbers have still not been quite there to the point where I'm like confident.
right.
Um, but yeah, I am taking into account your enthusiasm for him. It was similar,
Oh,
but to a lesser respect than to the enthusiasm he had for Martin H's, and we all know how that played out. So
nice.
I'm taking that into account, and obviously he's cooking right now.
That makes me feel really good, Nate. When Nate's taking my opinions into account, that's really just gives me a warm fuzzy inside. All right. Anyways, let's move on. I'm digressing. Last thing here, Patrick Kane of the Detroit Red Wings misses his 3rd straight game with an upper body injury. How about Tyler Mott, the beneficiary? Yay. All right, he got a goal today. Jimmy cracked corn, and I don't care. Nate, we got to get into this here. That's enough of the news. Talk to me about the schedule. We got to attack that thing.
Let's attack that schedule. On Monday, we have 3 games. On Tuesday, we have 10 games. Wednesday, 4 games. Thursday, 9 games. Friday is 6 games. Saturday, 11 games. And Sunday is 7 games. It's a really nice streaming week, no doubt about it. 50 total games played, so it's a light week, but towards the normal side of that. You got 2 teams that have a Sunday, Monday back to back, so finishing off this week on an off night and opening up next week on an off night. That's Chicago and Dallas. You have no teams that have the Monday, Tuesday back to back to open the week, but we do have 3 teams with a Monday, Wednesday to open the week. Those are Chicago, Dallas, and Toronto. 4 teams with the Wednesday, Friday off nights midweek. That's Anaheim, Dallas, Toronto, and Vegas. And then 6 teams with the Friday, Sunday off nights. That's going to be really useful to close out your weeks. Columbus, Dallas, New Jersey, the Rangers, Seattle, and Vancouver. So lots of optionality, lots of choices, time to stream hard. Back-to-backs are also in play this week. As I mentioned, 10 games, 9 games, 11 games for the heavy nights. Those aren't the heaviest nights that we see, nothing like what we're seeing this week. And so there's a pretty good chance that you can actually fit in some guys in your lineup on some of those heavy nights. And so these back-to-backs might actually be of some use to you. 1 team has a Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. That's Nashville. 2 teams have Thursday, Friday back-to-backs. That's Columbus and Seattle. 4 teams with Friday, Saturday. Toronto, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Washington. And 6 teams with a Saturday, Sunday. Utah, Colorado, New York Islanders, Winnipeg, Ottawa, and Philadelphia. So definitely it's going to be an interesting one. 7 games on Sunday is going to make it a swing day for close matchups. So you're going to have to stream hard right to the bitter end if you want the results this week. All right. That's enough of that. Let's click it over to the lowered expectations.
Lower those expectations, folks. Yeah, this is going to be a great week here. So, I think games played is going to be the order of the day, right? And so the teams with the worst schedule are the ones that have 2 games, even though they have off nights. So we're going to look at that. 2 teams in particular: the Los Angeles Kings and the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2 games with 1 off night. So, LA plays. They play Wednesday and Saturday. And then Tampa plays Thursday and Sunday. So, yeah, it's whatever. I think this is the type of week where you want to have guys that have 3 or 4 games minimum, right? So that's where the issue is there. Let's look at LA. Couple players just that are on the bubble, right? And we got to throw Brandt Clark on there, although I'm not dropping Brandt Clark at all, but we'll put him on the list, right? They have been doing the 5-forward power play there in LA as well, so that does affect Brandt Clark. Trevor Moore, Alex Laferriere, who's been good, Quentin Byfield. Talk to me about the LA Kings and what you're doing with those 4 players, Nate.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on Brant Clark. I've talked about him a fair bit on the
Yep.
podcast about how I really think that the prospect profile is as pretty much as elite as it gets, and also that his underlying stats look really good. I will note one note of caution. He's been in the 15 to 16 minute range the last 3 games here.
Yep.
That's obviously not ideal. So maybe there's something going on defensively or something like that that's kind of reducing that. But the underlying metrics are still really strong for Brant Clark. And so I'm still holding him as of now. That's my position there. On the other guys, Trevor Moore was out for the game today. The underlying metrics were not good. Maybe there's something he was nursing there for a bit before coming out of the lineup. That's one I think you can move off of if you need to. Laferriere had a nice day today, 4 points in his last 5 now. Underlying metrics are pretty good, especially the on ice numbers. The shots aren't quite there, but everything else looks pretty solid under the hood. Just under 16 minutes, so he's kind of borderline for me. He's in
Yep.
streamer territory. I'm okay to drop him. And same goes for Quentin Byfield, who's been kind of up and down in terms of his underlying numbers. Right now, he's kind of a little bit more on the downside. I think I'd be okay with dropping Byfield as well if you're going to get more games played out of somebody else.
Yeah, disappointing season for Quentin Byfield up to this point. Not really what we expected. I don't think we were thinking he was going to blast off, but at least kind of 60-point Byfield, I think was sort of what I thought was the floor, and it's just that really hasn't come to pass here. So, anyways, that's LA. Let's talk about Tampa, and really, there's only one player that I want to talk about here, and I talked about him on our Sell High show, Anthony Cirelli. And of course, he gets another goal today. What the hell? I mean, this guy's off his head. He took a slap shot to the face. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So Anthony Cirelli, go take a rest. You're going to be out a couple weeks. No, he comes back out and gets a goal. So, what's your thought on Anthony Cirelli? How much should we be valuing this player? Like in Yahoo, he's 48% rostered. What are you doing with him in this 2-game week? Is he worth a hold?
It's kind of crazy right now with Sorelli because the recent stretch is insane. Like he's got 5 goals, 6 points his last 5, 19 and a half minutes average time on ice. That's actually getting dragged down by this game, this latest game where he was only on for 17-13. Probably missed a shift there with that incident. I didn't see it myself, but I can imagine. But the underlying metrics are really solid: 38th shots per 60, 32nd individual scoring chances for per 60. The on ice numbers are solid as well, not even into the hundreds. And so it's pretty hard to drop him right now when things are going this well. But we also have like the entire body of work of Anthony Cirelli, and this is what you mentioned on your sell high on Cirelli, is the entire body of work on Cirelli to this point says that he's not this dude. And so like he is doing it right now. But yeah, I tend to agree that it's more likely than not that he's going to fall off from this pace, that it's not something he can sustain. But yeah, I think I'd be trying to hang on at this point with the underlying numbers being good, with the ice time being there, with the production being there.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to drop them right now. I do think that it's most likely you will drop them at some point through the season, but I don't know if right now is the time that I'd do it.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because I think obviously I talked about him as a sell high, so I'd much rather you try and trade him, right? Like get value off this guy. But if I had to, I'd drop him, no question. I have no faith in what the hell is going on right now. It makes no sense. And I mentioned this in the pod too. My sell high. It's not like he's Matt Duchene. He's not that kind of player. He's not an offensive minded guy. This is a two-way pivot, right? That's just, he's on a heater. He's on a serious heater. So no power play time. His line is Brandon Hagel and like, what's this guy's name? Goncalves? I mean, or Mitchell Chaffee, if he's up there, like, no, I just can't see this continuing. So for me personally, I think if you need to, Sorelli could be a drop. But I mean, yeah, what Nate said actually absolutely holds water. This guy's doing the thing right now. The metrics are really good. So something to think about there. Let's move on over to the Anaheim Ducks. Now, what the hell is a duck? A duck doesn't play hockey, all right? Have you ever seen a duck on skates, Nate?
I still am trying to figure out what a duck is, so no.
This is ludicrous, all right? It makes no sense. I don't understand who was in the focus group. You know what I mean? They're like, we got a new team here in Anaheim. What is the duck? Their national bird or something? I mean, no, it's like, yeah, we got an ice hockey team. Yeah, what about the Ducks? Like, I guess it was Disney. Oh man, I'm just, sure. But they stuck with it. Like, when they got Disney out of here, they're like, change the damn name. Okay. But you know what? They're leaning in and I'm here for it. Anyways, Anaheim Ducks play 2 games, both on the off nights. Anaheim plays, what do they play? Wednesday and Friday. So you're getting a mid, that could be, you could stream in some Ducks midweek if you really want, if you need to dodge like that busy Thursday. But it's only a 9-game Thursday. So what are we talking about? Anyways, let's get on the Ducks here. Frank Vetrano, Frank the Tank. But he's actually playing pretty damn well here lately. Radko Gudas, I think that's an easy one. Unless you're in a bangers league, you can bounce him to the curb. Olin Zellweger is a player I'm trying to hold personally. Troy Terry probably as well. Talk to me about the Ducks there, and throw in anybody else. We got Zegras, we got Cutter Gauthier in there. Like, what are you doing with the Ducks in this 2-game, 2 off night week?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to hold all 4 of these guys. Gudis, I'm really only thinking of in a bangers context. I don't think he's even rostered in most points leagues. So in a bangers context, I think I am trying to hold on to Gudis because he is a bit of a difference maker with what he brings to the table in bangers cats. Vetrano, as you mentioned, underlying metrics are terrific here. 15 shots per 60, 9th individual scoring chances, 4 per 60 over the last 5 with 18 minutes a night. That's a profile I don't want to give up on just when things are starting to get going for him. 8th in the league on the season in shots per 60 as well. Olin Zellweger still looks really good under the hood. That hasn't changed, so it's another player that I would like to hang on to if I can. A little bit less convinced that you need to there. Troy Terry, underlying numbers are not good, but he does have 4 assists in his last 5. He is the forward getting the most ice time most nights. Got the most in the game here today on Friday. So, yeah, I think I am trying to hang on to Terry, but there are probably some leagues, like 10-team leagues, you're definitely dropping Troy Terry. 12-team leagues, I'm probably trying to hang on.
Yeah, I like that. That makes total sense to me. So, yeah, there you go with the Ducks. Let's look at a bunch of other teams. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Counting on the pod, that's what we're doing. There are 8 teams with 3 games and 0 off nights. And those teams are the Buffalo Sabres, Carolina Hurricanes, Detroit Red Wings, Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers, Montreal Canadiens, San Jose Sharks, and the St. Louis Blues. So what I thought we'd do here, Nate, just as a fun exercise, is try and find that drop barometer, right? So, like for instance, like starting in Buffalo, we got JJ Peterka on this list. I don't think we're dropping JJ Peterka. Like, is that pretty reasonable with you? Yeah. So I want to find the drop barometer, and I'm going to throw you a couple players here and talk to me what you do with these. So Dylan Cousins, and Jason Zucker, both on power play 1. What are you doing with those 2 players? Who's going to be your drop?
Yeah, I think I dropped both this week. I like Cousins. I like the underlying numbers. They're still solid, if not completely elite. But yeah, I think you can drop both if you need the off nights this week.
Beautiful. All right, moving over to the Hurricanes. All right, Shane Gostisbehere's on this list, but I think I can safely say we're not dropping Shane Gostisbehere ever. All right, this guy's incredible. I actually watched a little of the game today. He is an amazing power play quarterback. There's no question. Like, he passes the eye test. Obviously, I know Nate loves that, but the metrics are good too. So Goss Bear, we're not dropping him, but we've got some other guys here. A guy that I'm actually interested in your thoughts on, Brent Burns. Let's talk about Brent Burns and Jack Roslovic. Those two players. What are you holding them or are you dropping them?
I think you can drop both. Brent Burns does have good underlying numbers at the moment, but he has failed to convert at any reasonable rate at any point this year, which is kind of the exact opposite of everybody else in Carolina at the moment. Jack Roslovic is still converting, but the
No.
underlying metrics have started to fall off here. I feel like this could be the start of the end for Jack Roslovic. Feels like he does this every year where he has like a 2 or 3 week stretch where he looks like he's one of the best players in the league and then he falls off the face of the earth. So I'm pretty worried that that's what we're looking at with Roslovic at the moment.
Yeah. And Nate's obviously holding Jesperi Kotkaniemi for the entire season because, buddy, look what he's pacing for. Just as I predicted, 46 points. Oh, yeah, buddy. Vindicated. All right. 20 games into the season. I'm absolutely vindicated. All right. Don't hold Jesperi Kotkaniemi, folks. Okay. Let's move on to Detroit. Patrick Kane, Vladimir Tarasenko. Where's your drop line?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Kane obviously still out. If you can hide him on IR Plus for a little longer, maybe do that. But yeah, that's a tough one. I think you might be able to drop Patrick Kane. It pains
Weird
me to
stuff.
say,
Yeah.
but yeah, if there's somebody out there who's gonna really do a lot better for you this week, I can see it. I think that if Kane can get healthy, he can get back to like a 70-point pace, and that's what makes me hesitant. Is that I still think that player is there, but he's gonna have to get healthy first, and it's not clear to me if the what he's dealing with is something that might not linger all season long. Tarasenko, I'm totally okay with dropping.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. It's also like dependent on where you're at in your season. Like, again, we're only 23 games in or whatever, like quarter mark in. Maybe you can afford to hold Patrick Kane, right? Like, I think that's like if we're just in a bubble and we're like, you need to win your next week. Like, I think Kane can be bounced, right? If you have to. But yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to try and hold on there if possible. Let's move on over to Edmonton. Yeah, we've got Ryan Nugent Hopkins on this list, the overtime hero in the game here tonight on Friday. I don't think we're dropping Nuge. That doesn't make any sense. But Darnell Nurse, Jeff Skinner, what are you doing with those two players?
Yeah, I don't think Nurse is a player you have to hang on to, but I will note that his underlying metrics have been really good basically throughout the entire season. He's managed to put up a few points. Like he's on pace for 12 goals, 41 points on the season. I feel like that could be a sustainable number
Yeah,
for him in terms of the season, and he obviously brings a lot of peripherals to bear as well. Jeff Skinner, under 14 minutes a night, you can drop.
absolutely. There you go. Over to Florida. How about Aaron Ekblad, buddy? He. I'm so glad that he did take over power play one, but I don't have a ton of confidence that he's going to hold it. Right? I'm not sure they like that, but he's been doing pretty good lately. I mean, he's on this list, but I think I'm trying to hold Aaron Ekblad there. What about more fringe players like Anton Lundell and Evan Rodriguez?
Yeah, I agree. Hang on to Ekblad. I do think you can drop Lundell. He does have 4 points in his last four here, but
And a shorty.
yeah, I'm okay to drop. Did miss a game here as well, so check if he's not dealing with something else that might cause you more issues if you do decide you want to hang on. Evan Rodriguez, I'm never going to be excited about. I think you can drop him just about any time he has a bad schedule.
He's a chucker. All right. He's a chucker. All right. In Montreal, we've got Yuri Slavkovsky on this list, which is pretty strange considering what we went into the season kind of hoping for this player. And I still have some hope there. I'm definitely not dropping Slavkovsky in this week, but it could be a little bit stinky. I think he's the cutoff line there. What are you doing with a guy like Lane Hudson?
Yeah, Lane Hudson is an interesting one. Underlying numbers have actually looked pretty good. 12th in on ice scoring chances, 4 per 60 over the last five, while skating almost 24 minutes a night. So it's not like it's in low minutes either. But that being said, it's still Montreal. I think you can drop any player not on top power play, assuming Matheson is back. that Hudson is droppable, in my opinion. I will say, like, Slavkovsky, it's a rough look right now.
Yep.
Everything under the
Yep.
hood looks really bad. It looks similar to the start of last year, honestly, where everybody was like, oh, the Canadians wasted a
Yep.
first
But
round pick, right? And yeah, I'm worried that we're looking at something similar for the time being. He's on the Gallagher Dvorak line in the last game. That's obviously no good. Still on top power play for now. But yeah, if someone dropped Slavkovsky, I would have a hard time arguing against it at the moment right now.
yeah, no, that makes sense. That's an interesting take. Yeah, I think it just stinks. I need to talk to Mark Barber. All right, that's the guy that got me on the Slav train. I got to see what he thinks. All right, let's just. It's like getting a second opinion. We'll just get the second opinion, and then I'll be like, no, get the hell off my squad, Slav. All right. I don't know where I'm going with this. All right. San Jose is the next team. We've got some players on here. Mikhail Granlund, you're not dropping him. Tyler Toffoli, you're not dropping him. Celebrini, you're not dropping him. Wallman, no. Talk to me about Fabian Zetterlund and William Eklund. Where's your drop line on San Jose, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, after the game today, I don't know how you drop any of these guys.
They're studs.
They're putting up points. As we talked about, like San Jose, they have some players this year. They're able to actually put some points on the board. That's been pretty exciting to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to drop any of these guys at the moment. If you can hang on to them, I'd like to. But I do think you can drop Zetterlund, Eklund if you absolutely need to. Eklund's underlying metrics are not that good. He is definitely trending towards being just more of an assist first kind of player
Yep.
in general. Kind of has shown that throughout his career so far, and it's trended a little bit more that way so far in the young season with 4 goals but 18 assists on the young season here. So yeah, I think that both these guys are droppable at the moment if you have to, but if you don't, I wouldn't mind hanging on.
All right, there you go. Confirmed from Nate Grudniblik. Drop it like it's lukewarm. All right. No, you keep William Eklund on the team till the wheels fall off. That's how we get the biz. All right. Last team, St. Louis Blues. There's some players here that I just want to find that line. So Colton Parayko, Pavel Buchnevich, I think, are both holds. Justin Falk, hold. Talk to me about Braden Shen, Jake Neighbors, Dylan Holloway. What are you doing with those players?
Yeah, it's an interesting point now. I still like Folk a little bit. I still like Holloway actually. Like recently, it's come up a
Yeah.
little bit in terms of the underlying numbers. Had a really nice game there the other night. Neighbors' numbers have come up a little bit recently. It's interesting to think what Jim Montgomery's presence could mean here for a lot of these players. And so I think, honestly, there's arguments to be made for hanging on to these guys, even in like a 12-team kind of standard league. That being said, like I don't think these are guys that you're gonna win or lose your season based on, and for that reason, I would drop them if I needed the off nights.
Yep, absolutely. And again, just remember it's 3 games, but those busy nights are not busy. So you don't have to get off these players. We're just trying to find that drop line. So that's it for those teams. There are 8 teams that have 3 games with 1 off night, but we're not going to go into those. We are, however, going to go into the next segment, which is called Crossing the Streams. Oh yeah, don't cross the streams, folks. All right, it creates a rip in space-time continuum. Anyways, actually, buddy, I forgot to tell you this. I had an interesting experience the other night. I was
How
having
did you?
this. Yeah, I did. I was having this dream, and I was in space. Okay, and Nate, you were there too. Okay, it was
Of
pretty
course.
cool. Yeah, I mean, we had the suits and everything, but in this particular part of the dream, we were inside the shuttle, and there was 0 G. Okay, there was no gravity, zero. All right, 0 G. So, whatsoever. And Nate and I, we just finished playing a rousing game of Connect Four. Okay, and
Hmm.
yeah, we noticed out the window that we could see the Earth and its atmosphere. It was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, what did we do? We decided, we got to cross the streams in space. And I'll tell you, it was beautiful for about 5 seconds, but then you can probably guess what happened, right? The streams got all over us, first of all, and then they got all over the console, right? And it shorted out. So we start going down, right? We start speeding towards the earth. We jumped in our chairs, we buckled in, and we were just white knuckling it. You know what I'm saying? And it was at that point that I woke up, and I just thought that I would share that with you. I did end up having to change the sheets for obvious reasons, but I forgot to mention as well, Nate was sleeping over this night. Nate and I, we do sleepovers every now and then. And luckily he was in the top bunk. But you know what? I felt connected and I felt like a man. And Nate, have you ever had a dream like that?
Uh, Definitely nothing that vivid. That was impressive for sure. That was on another level for sure.
Okay, well, I mean, I do that. I don't know. I have a very active imagination. Anyway, cross the streams with your friends, folks. You won't regret it. Let's move on. We got to talk about the best teams to stream. That's what this segment is really about. I should also just mention Nate has currently moved his recording, software into an airplane hangar. So he's
Exactly.
doing work from an airplane hangar. He does that. I mean, he's a jack of all trades. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. Anyways, we got a perfect streaming week here for the Dallas Stars. They play 4 games all on the off nights. That's excellent. So we got to talk about these Stars and what we're going to do. And I mean, can you get Matt Duchene? Is Duchene available? You got to get him on your squad. Good God. I don't have Matt Duchene anywhere, and I never have, and I never will. Okay. But I do like Matt Duchene. Let's look at some of the streamers that are potentially available there on the Dallas Stars. First off, like we mentioned earlier, Logan Stankoven, this guy is battling a minor injury. So I think he's going to be good to go for next week. So I think he's on the list there. But Tyler Seguin, this guy, man, I want to get a piece of that line. Mason Marchment, Tyler Seguin, are those guys available? Like, they're must-adds, right? Essa Lindell is another one out there. Evgeny Dadonov. Talk to me about the Dallas Stars, Nate.
Yeah, if Sagan and Stankoven are available, then definitely those guys are priorities. They're in the low 40s% rostered at the
Easy stuff.
moment. Definitely should be far more with the way that they've produced as of late. I will note Stankoven has cooled a little bit. His ice time has cooled a little bit as well. Sagan still ripping pucks. Had another goal and an assist in the game here tonight. 41 goals, 91-point pace
It's
on the
wild.
season for Tyler Seguin so far. Definitely, this is inflated 20.9% shooting percentage, 17.7% on ice shooting percentage. But there's no denying the fact that Tyler Seguin is playing at an unreal level, 15th in the league in individual scoring chances, 4 per 60 at the moment on the season. Yeah, the other guys, like, those are mostly like for your 14 or 16 team leagues. Lindell in a Bangers Cats, Dadonov, if you're really looking for somebody in your 16 team league, like, he'll be rostered in Kickuffle Tier 1 next week. I'm pretty sure of it. But yeah, that's mostly if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel there.
Rostered by Nate, folks. All right. That's what he's doing. You got to get a piece of this Dallas team. But I don't know. That's that line. Mason Marchment, Tyler Seguin, just going off. Matt Duchene, what the hell? And meanwhile, Jason Robertson, 50-point pace. Thank you for your service, my man. Thanks for coming out. All right, let's move on. Toronto Maple Leafs have 4 games with 3 off nights. So that's excellent for the Leafs. They play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they play the 11-game Saturday. So you could technically get all your Leafs in as well if you stream a Leaf in. And we got some not decent, not even decent. No, Matthew Nyes is the belle of the ball there. I mean, if he's out there on your waiver wire, like, he's going to be back in on Saturday. So let's see his minutes and kind of what deployment he gets. He's looking at power play 1 there. OEL is out there. Jake McCabe, Nick Robertson, Fraser Minton. Talk to me about some of these lower level Leafs and what kind of interest we should have in them.
Yeah, not much, to be honest. I tried to include some in here for the people in the deeper leagues, but yeah, it's really hard to get excited about anything deeper on. I will note, like, Robertson's shooting the puck.
Snake bit.
He's had some exposure up the lineup with all the injuries that the Leafs have had, and he's looked like decent. Probably the best that he has played so far. Like, he played with on the Nylander line in the last game. And so we'll see what they decide to do in the game upcoming. But I think there's a chance at least that Robertson or Minton could get something going. That being said, like, it's been in the practice today, the lines they released, Nyes was back up with Matthews and Nylander,
Awesome.
and they had Pontus Holmberg with Tavares and Marner. You're not interested in Pontus Holmberg. He's there to do one job and just to grind in the corners. So, yeah, realistically, I don't think you're going to be too excited about anybody else aside from Matthew Nyes that you can get there.
It's a cool-ass name. Pontus? Like, what, oh, look at our beautiful baby boy. What should we name him? Pontus. Like, did you just make that up? He's like, yeah. And you know what? It works. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. But shout out to Pontus Holmberg. Get to biz with JT and Mitch Marner, buddy. Come on. All right, let's move on. We got to talk about a couple other teams that have 3 games with 3 off nights, and they are the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers. Let's talk about the Devils. The Devils, they play Monday, Friday, and Sunday. So that's kind of nice. Better back week stream for your Devils there. If you have a streamer of a Devil, you can hold it for the Monday there, and then maybe get off and pick one up later if need be. The Rangers play Monday. Actually, they both play that. Yeah. So Monday, Friday, Sunday. So there you go. Let's talk about the Devils first. Luke Hughes is out there. He's warming up a little bit, maybe thawing out, maybe is more the better term there for Luke Hughes. What a difference of a season. Hey, you got a healthy Dougie Hamilton, and now Luke Hughes is just absolutely minimized. Obviously, we have a different coach in there as well, but yeah, I think this is the right thing to do. They threw Luke Hughes to the Wolves last year, but anyways, I'm digressing. He's a great player, but probably a good streamer for this week. Brendan Dillon, the ultimate beefer, Dawson Mercer, Paul Cotter, and Eric Holla. Talk to me about who you like out of Jersey there, Nate.
Yeah, I do actually like Luke Hughes a little bit. If you need a defenseman for this week, you can definitely do worse. The underlying numbers have really come a long way for Luke Hughes, especially in the last little bit here. In the last 5 games, you get Luke Hughes up at first in individual scoring chances, 4 per 60, and second in both the on-ice metrics. We look at Corsi 4 per 60 and on-ice scoring chances, 4 per 60. 19 minutes a night, so he's still not cresting that 20-minute threshold that I really like to see for defensemen, but he's got 3 assists in the last 5. So yeah, things are trending upward for Luke Hughes, and I do think he could do worse. On the forward side of things, like, you're probably not too excited about Dawson Mercer, Paul Cotter, Eric Holla, this contingent of players. You got Andre Palat on the top line with Hughes and Bratt. I don't know if you're excited about that either. Realistically, I don't know. If I had to pick one, I guess I'd pick Eric Holla. Decent underlying metrics, 15 and a half minutes a night. That might be the way I'd run. Would you run differently, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, very, very similar. I'm not really interested in too many of these players, but I did
Yeah.
want to shout out Stefan Nason. He's 53% rostered. He's power play 1 over there in Jersey, and this guy's doing stuff. I think this guy's like a poor man's Zach Hyman. He's net front. He's just tapping pucks in. He's having a nice little season here. This guy's on a 63-point pace, 11 goals in 26 games. Pretty damn nice. You could do a lot worse than Stefan Nason, and I think they really like what he brings to power play 1, and I think his role is pretty solid there. So if he's out there, I think if you're going to go Jersey, that's a great stream as well. Let's go over to New York Rangers and this cesspool that's starting to bubble up here in New York. We got Jacob Trouba, Will Cooley, who is actually definitely a player of interest for me this year. And right now with what he's doing, he's a nice little player, just not getting the opportunity that he really needs, but he's doing a lot with a little in his limited ice time there. So that's a player of interest for me. Riley Smith, Capo Caco, that trade bait beauty, and Philip Hedl, the macro P. Is he coming back? Because if he is, I don't know. What are we doing with him? Talk to me about the Rangers, Nate.
Yeah, Cooley's probably the one you're most interested in. In the game today, they did try, in the second period, they tried Panarin, Zibanejad, Cooley as a line. Obviously, that's ideal for Cooley if he can get some Panarin exposure. On pace for 71 points on the
That's
season. Hard
insane.
to
I just
believe.
noticed that. Good God.
Yeah, 17 minutes a night the last 5 games, 5 points in the last 5 games. Underlying metrics, 127 shots per 60, 143rd in individual scoring chances, 4 per 60 in the 200s in the on-ice numbers. So do I think this is sustainable at this level? Absolutely not. Do I think that Will Cooley might be a nice streamer for next week? Yeah, I kind of do. I think that he might be valuable. He might be better than the Mercer, Cotter, Holla contingent from the Devils side of things.
Yep, that's a great take. I absolutely agree with that. Plus, he's a beefer. He bangs with the best
He
of them. He
does
does
that.
that. Yeah, he's got a great peripheral floor. I always think about pelvic floor when I say peripheral floor. I got to stop. I got to change that. Yeah, Will Cooley has a great pelvic floor, folks. He does the Kegels. He does those exercises. It's extremely strong. He can lift an entire barbell with 185 pounds. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
That's horrible. All right, I'm getting a visual here. Let's move on. there are a couple teams with 4 games and 2 off nights. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Seattle Kraken. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to go through their whole schedule here, but Columbus, man, I like what they're bringing to the table. They really brought it today in that game against the Flames. Obviously, there's a little extra there for both teams. They have some ties to Johnny Gaudreau, obviously, and it was a great game, and Columbus came out victorious. They're looking really good. So Sean Monahan is out there. Kirill Marchenko, this is a must-roster player. You got to have Marchenko on your team. There's no reason for him to be out on the waiver wire. Book it, okay? But Igor Chinikov, if he comes back off injury, that's a player we're interested in as well. Kent Johnson, Adam Fantilli with 2 goals here on the Friday. And I'd love to see it. Now that Johnson is back, he's playing with Fantilli, and Cole Sillinger came back, and that line looked pretty damn good. I got to say that. And then we also got Voronkov out there. Tell me about how are you prioritizing these Columbus players? Because they got a lot of streamers, don't they, Nate?
They do have a lot of streamers. I think that Marchenko is the guy that I'm the most confident in at the moment. The underlying metrics are back up. He's feeling it once again. Him and Monahan have really kind of established something together, and they're kind of a 1-2 punch there. If someone said they like Monahan a little more than Marchenko, I wouldn't fight them too hard on it, but it does feel like those two guys are the most entrenched in kind of line 1, power play 1 situations, and so I'm always going to be into that. The other guy on line 1, power play 1 at the moment is Voronkov, and for that reason, I do have some love for him as well. Kent Johnson on that top power play at the moment as well, and that's obviously going to be a spot where he might be able to produce. Chinikov is the one with the best underlying metrics outside of Marchenko, and so I have some interest there, but he did miss the game today, so he may want to be cognizant of a potential injury situation there. Fantilli had a nice game today, but the underlying metrics still haven't come around this year. Don't know why it's working so well for everybody else in Columbus, but it hasn't seemed to quite click yet for Fantilli. Hopefully the couple goals he got today will be some sort of catalyst and everything will start to move better from here on out. But yeah, he's probably the bottom of the list, honestly, right now for a streamer.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. But again, yeah, like you said, I love those 2 goals. Just get him off the schneid, get him feeling confident. Yeah, obviously that's a player that we're interested to hear in here at Apples and Ginos. Over to Seattle. Geez, this team is frustrating. It doesn't matter who the coach is. Like, they're just rolling people out there. It's like bingo. You just throw darts. Like, who's going to score today? Oh, Yanni Gord. Great. All right, that's super helpful for fantasy. Yeah, they just put up 8 goals. Matty Beniers, nothing. Okay. Jeez. Okay, that's $7 million well spent. Anyways, let's talk about the streamers here for Seattle. Adam Larson, Beefer Extreme. I think he's great in category leagues. No question there. Points leagues, no. Matty Beniers, Oliver Bjorkstrand, the Jerk Store, Illy Tolvanen, Chandler Bing Stevenson. God, I just can't bring myself to stream this man in. Jaden Schwartz, I was going to say Chris Tanev, Brandon Tanev, and Jamie Oleksiak. How are you ranking some of these players? Give me your player of interest there for Seattle.
Yeah, I guess it's Beniers,
Oh,
if only because he had that one game that like where he lit up. I forget what it was exactly. 7 shots, like double-digit
it was the game
scoring
before
chances.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, still not resulting in points, but he's still getting 18 minutes. Bjorkstrand's got 5 points his last 5, but I really don't feel confident about it. The underlying metrics are not good there. Stevenson has 6 points in his last 5, but the underlying metrics are horrific there. Just absolutely atrocious for Chandler Stevenson on a 7-goal pace on the season right now. Yeah, Tanev and Oleksiak and Larson as bangers, guys. I like all them, but it's really tough to pick a streamer out of Seattle right now.
Yeah, I don't trust these guys. Even McCann is pissing me off right now. It's like he's clearly a superior player to any of these guys, but he's just not getting it done. So yeah, it's frustrating times there in Seattle. That's going to be a frustrating fantasy team, I think, this season. So there you go. Last little bit here. There are 4 teams with 3 games and 2 off nights. They are the Chicago Blackhawks, Utah Hockey Club, Vancouver Canucks, and the Vegas Golden Knights. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Chicago. Toivo Teravainen, is he out there? Tyler Bertuzzi, is he out there? Yeah, you can pick these guys up. I mean, Nick Foligno, the Pickle, Alex Vlasic, Philip Kurashev, who's now playing with Connor Bedard, has been for a little bit. Nice place to be. Taylor Hall, Hattie the other night. What? He's kicking it back to his Hart Trophy days. Of those players mentioned, is there anyone on the Blackhawks that you're interested in streaming?
I mean, Taylor Hall on the top line with Bedard at the moment. Maybe you could get a little bit into that. Ryan Donato had a nice game today.
Oh yeah, Ryan
Uh,
Donato. Yeah, we didn't talk about him.
should shout him out, but
Yep.
yeah, it. Am I excited to stream any of these guys? Absolutely not. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough spot. Alex Vlasic, obviously of interest with the power play one from the back end. If you need a defenseman, that's a good look. 24 plus minutes a night in power play one. That's going to be probably as good as it gets in Chicago. But yeah, similar to Seattle, I'm not excited about
Yeah.
anything here.
Yeah, find somebody else. Although Alex Vlasic, let him slip you a pickle, all right? Because this guy can do stuff out there. He's good in category leagues too. He blocks a lot. So obviously, Chicago, they give up the odd shot here and there, and Vlasic is out there for massive minutes. So yeah, I think of those guys, I'm probably leaning that way. Utah Hockey Club, we got Logan Cooley, Nicky Schmaltz, Lawson Krause, Jack McBain. Let's get silly. Barrett Hayton and Kesselring. I can't remember his first name. Is it Michael? Oh God, I'm botching this. Right,
It
Nate's
is
nodding.
Michael.
Michael Kesselring, just like I knew. All right. Where are you at? I know you're a big Schmaltz guy, and I am too. What am I talking about? So besides Schmaltz, are you interested in these other players?
Yeah, I think you have to be interested in Cooley, a guy that we talked about a lot as a guy that we thought might take a step this year, maybe not right at the beginning of the year, but might mature into a bigger role in the team. Now on the top power play, he's got 6 points in his last five, over 18 minutes a night. The underlying metrics are starting to trend in the right direction, particularly scoring on ice scoring chances for
Yeah.
at 26th over the last 5 games here. He's on a 64-point pace, and I think that could improve from here on out.
Love that. I just noticed. This is the first time I've ever noticed this. Nick Schmaltz, 0 goals, 17 assists.
Yep.
What? Okay. Maybe be a little bit more selfish, Nikki, my man. All right. You know that black rubber thing. You got to put that in that thing with the net. It looks like just put that in there. I don't know. I'll talk to Nick later. He's a good friend of mine. Give him some pointers, right? Because that helps everybody. 17 assists, 0 goals, buddy. Dear God, that's crazy. Yeah, I like Utah. How about Dylan Genther, who Nate famously dropped in our Experts League, and I scooped up the remains. Oh yeah, it felt good. Although I think I paid a lot of fab to get him. So yeah, I'm pretty much screwed if I need any other free agents, but that's fine. Let's move on. Vancouver Canucks. We got some options here. Jake DeBrusk, who is thank you, Jake DeBrusk. He's finally come to play. This guy's got 5 points in his last 5 games, including 4 goals. Really nice to see. This is a guy we called as a sleeper this year, and he literally fell asleep. So now he's waking up a little bit. DeBrusk is on a 56-point pace. I like that. Throw 10 more points on that, and we're looking good. Our sleeper prediction is coming to fruition. But yeah, he's out there. I mean, with Miller out and the bunch of the other players, he's getting power play one. Kiefer Sherwood, he's out there. Massive hits. Unbelievable player, although he has cooled off lately. Connor Garland, what can you say? This guy's incredible. Today he blocked the shot. He blocked the crazy shot, took a shot off, and the puck bounced out to another player. That player scored. It was just an amazing assist. And then he got the overtime winner. He does that. This guy's like 5 foot tall. He's like a garden gnome out there. It's insane. So I'm a big fan of Connor Garland. If he's out there, you got to get him. All right. I think he's closing in on must roster territory for me in the current iteration of the Canucks. And then Dakota Joshua is back. He's hitting with the vengeance, although he's doing nothing offensively. Talk to me about the Canucks.
That's crazy. You're talking about Connor Garland. I don't think you've ever talked about him before and how much you love him. So that's kind of crazy that he's
He's
finally
my
coming up
favorite.
here on the podcast.
Behind Quinn Hughes, he's my favorite. So there you go.
Yeah, he's got 8 points, 4 goals in his last 5, skating 21 minutes a night. Pretty hard not to love what Connor Garland is bringing to the table for fantasy at the moment. Jake DeBrusk, the other one that you're interested in. Kiefer Sherwood, probably already rostered. Like, if you're in a Bangers League where Kiefer Sherwood is not already rostered, that'd be pretty crazy at this point. I'm not super excited about Sherwood in points leagues, but I mean, if you have a decent Bangers waiting, then for sure you can get something out of that.
There you go. All right, last team, Vegas Golden Knights. Let's talk about Willie K, Wild Bill, Willie Carlson, Pavel Dorofiev, Braden McNabb, Ultimate Beefer, Nicholas Waugh. I've been holding this guy because his underlying like expected goals for and all these things looks pretty good. He's doing jack squat. You know what I should have went for? Keegan Colasar. All right, that's the guy that really I should have picked up. I picked up Waugh instead. It was by mistake. But if Dorofiev's out there, what are you doing? You got to get Dorofiev on your team. Talk to me about these other Golden Knights here, Nate.
Yeah, Dorofiev is the number one for sure. He's got 5 points his last five, 40th in
Lovely.
shots per 60. Everything looks good there. William Karlsson's probably the next guy up, if only just for the 18:45 average time on ice over the last little bit here. Underlying metrics don't look good there, but yeah, you're just looking for ice time at that point, and he's got a 22 goal, 60-point pace on the season. That's solid streamer territory.
But you just can't give Keegan Colasar his flowers, can you, Nate? This man is on a 34-point pace. All right, that is beautiful. Okay, and he's doing it with style. Anyways, let's move on. Nate, you got to talk to us about the Apples and Genos Patreon because the people want to know.
Well, the people can know that for $2 a month, you can get access to patron-only live shows. We'll be doing one of those shortly in December, not this upcoming week, but the week after is the plan at the moment. And I'm still interested in people's feedback on what they want to hear for that show. And the Apples tier, $8 a month, gets you access to those patron-only live shows, but also the patron-only Discord channels, gets you access to our show notes for the show, like this one here, like the flagship show that we'll have later this weekend, and also gets you the Apples and Geos player evaluation tool, which is what Blake and I use to evaluate these players, bring you the last 5 game stats and all those sorts of things. The Genos tier is for the true degenerates out there who want to spend $15 a month to get every question guaranteed answered by yours truly. And now, Blake, we need to go to the Dream Streams. And the Dream Streams is a little bit different from Crossing the Streams, even though you did have like a Dream Stream Crossing Stream
Yeah,
situation.
that's weird. That's like, is that streamer inception? I don't know what's
It
happening.
feels like it a little bit for sure. Um, Honestly, this was a really tough one for me to write out. Yeah, like I said, Tyler Seguin, Logan Stankoven, if those guys are available in your league, absolutely. Those are the guys to go get. Matthew Nyes, yeah, definitely do that. Jake DeBrusk, this is where it gets weird because these are guys with 2 off nights, but honestly, the guys that we're talking about from the Rangers and the Devils, like I mentioned, I'm just so not interested in them that I think I would rather have the Jake DeBrusk, the Sean Monahan, the Kirill Marchenko, the Logan Cooley, the Nick Schmaltz, all these guys. I think I would rather have them than basically Will Cooley is the next guy up that I mentioned before. And yeah, Eric Holla I threw in at the end as a guy that I could be interested in. But honestly, after the top 3 of Seguin, Stankoven, and Nyes, I am kind of throwing up my hands and saying whatever fits with your with your lineup this
Yeah.
week, go for it. If you can get in one of these guys with the 2 off nights, like the Marchenko or the DeBrusk, if you can do that for this week, then I think you should go ahead and do that. If you can get them in on one of those heavy nights at least that they're playing, then I think they make a lot of sense above and beyond the Devils or Rangers guys. Any guys here, Blake, that you disagree with? Anything you'd add?
No, definitely don't disagree. It's just, yeah, this is an interesting week where it's like the actual quantity of games is almost more important than the quality of games. Like we just have so many options. So yeah, this is a great list, but you can throw in a bunch of other players that are going to be able to do stuff for you. I love that you put Will Cooley on here, though. I do like that. That's an interesting player. I don't know. I didn't expect that. And a 71-point pace. Sheesh.
Yeah, absolutely going off in the early going here. Also going off in hits. So Kiefer Sherwood for sure, top dog, but Will Cooley right behind there with the 3 off nights this week. Paul Cotter, Brendan Dillon, Steven Lawrence, other players that you might want to look at in your Bangers Cats leagues. Chris Tanev, Jacob True, Brett Pesci, Jogan Siegenthaler, and Jake McCabe are my top 5 for blocks. Chris Tanev doesn't bring anything else to the table for
I know
fantasy, but
nothing.
the blocks are wild. They're out of control. So, yeah, if that's all you're interested in, then Chris Tanev can be that guy for you. All right, let's move along, Blake. Let's talk about these players that we want to hold, the players that we wish would hold us. You know, calmly and gently through the night and
Oh,
just
that's
take
lovely.
everything, take all the pains and cares of this world away from us. And yeah, just hold me. Tops of the list has to be Brian Rust. I mean, you look at the mustache on this man, and how could you not want that man to hold you? 33%
Love
rostered
that.
on Yahoo, which is an absolute travesty. If he's available, he should be rostered. Had a big game earlier this week. Unfortunately, it came on my bench, which was
Me too.
catastrophic.
Me too.
But yeah, such is life. JJ Paterka dipping under 50% rostered here, and so he's up at the top of this list. Couple of flames here: Igor Sharangovich, Nazem Kadri. Do think those are pretty interesting options who have potential to score 60 plus point pace from here on out. 30 goal pace maybe from here on out. Wouldn't shock me for either of those things to happen. Gabriel Velarde still under 50%. Tyler Seguin, who we mentioned, I do think he'll drop off, but I do think he might be just, yeah, with the individual scoring chances for, that's what's really driving him up here. I do think the efficiency will drop off at some point, but he is actually generating more chances than ever before, and I want to take that into account here. Monahan, Marchenko, Pavel Buchnevich went back from injury. Logan Stankoven rounding out the top 10 here. Then I've got Logan Cooley, Jake DeBrusque, Nick Schmaltz, Josh Norris, Casey Middlestat, Pavel Dorofiev, Alex Laferriere. Had a nice game here. Ryan O'Reilly, Elias Lindholm, Quentin Byfield, Matthew Nyes, William Eklund. Blake, it's a 22-player list.
Yeah.
I tried to pare it down, but I didn't want to leave players off either in the end. So to have to be about any players that are standing out to you here.
Yeah, it's exciting that there's this many players that are still so under rostered. To me, William Eklund, like, and I'm not, I've talked about him a lot, but I think he deserves to be higher in this list. I think I'd put him, maybe under Kirill Marchenko, like up that high. Like, I really think this is a player, and you and I have talked about it. Like, he's getting insane deployment, and he's just doing the thing. And yeah, I really am high on William Eklund. I think he's a must roster player at this point. But yeah, these guys are all. You could make an argument for all these players to be on your roster.
For sure. Sub 20% rostered. Troy Terry has dipped under 20% rostered. And I think that's a good pickup for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Pavel Zacha, Jack Roslovic, Igor Chinikov, Marco Rossi, Kent Johnson, Matty Beniers, Jake Neighbors. All definitely options that you can consider. Mostly when you're down in this range, I'm usually looking to try to find a guy that matches up as a streamer for the week. And then if he turns into something more, then that's just found money. But yeah, I think all these guys fit that bill in one way or another. Sub 10% rostered for your deep leagues. Connor Zary, really liking what he's brought to the table. Picked him up in Kickupful, and I haven't been able to drop him since because he
Yeah.
continually is putting up points and doing stuff out there outside of the game here Friday, I guess. Jason Zucker still at 7%. Dmitry Voronkov, both these guys power play one and producing. So
Yep.
definitely of interest at the moment here with potential to hang on long term if they're able to make it stick there all season long. Barrett Hayton, Anthony Duclair when he's back. Had to throw Taylor Hall in here just for the hat trick game. We'll see how long he sticks with Bedard, but if he's able to stick there, then there might be something there. Cutter Gauthier, Tyler Bertuzzi, Ryan Hartman, Dylan Holloway making the list for the first time with that big game. A couple of nice games actually in recent memory here. Kirby Doc, Matt Coronado rounding out the list. Anybody from the sub 20 or sub 10% rostered list here, Blake, that you want to highlight?
Kent Johnson. I think that's a guy that I am pretty high on, and I think that I love the chemistry that he has with Adam Fantilli. I think there's something there, and he's got power play one, so 14% rostered, much too low. I think that's a spec ad at this point. Get this guy in your roster.
I don't mind that at all. Going over to the long-term plays on defense, Aaron Ekblad just kind of fits in here, just under the wire at 49% rostered at the time that I pulled these stats. So he definitely is an option. Had a couple assists, so I assume his rostership was going to go up with the power play deployment.
Yep.
Owen Zellweger, I'm still into. Justin Falk, I'm still into. Emil Andre, still on top power play. And yeah, that's a player that has been showing out really nicely. Obviously, had kind of an injury that in the middle of what was looking to be a hot streak, but he's getting 20 plus minutes a night and doing good things when he's out there, getting on the top power play. At the moment, I really like Emil Andre, with the obvious caveat that he plays for John Tortorella, and so this could all go away as soon as tomorrow. Owen Power, Luke Hughes, Bowen Byram, Jacob Truba, Oliver Ekman Larson, Lane Hudson, all these guys feel kind of similar to me, where they're all probably an injury away from really something happening good for them for fantasy, but all rosterable in the meantime in some leagues. Timothy Liljegren, throw in here as another 1% option. He did get moved off top power play in the game today after I made the list. So that's something to be cognizant of, but also worth watching to see what happens, because obviously San Jose has moved away from Jake Wallman. They're now going back to him. We'll see how long that lasts. Liljegren might still be worth hanging on to. Liljegren. I still can't get that right. Sub 20% rostered. Andre Liljegren, Vlasic, Matt Roy, Simon Edvinson, same list that I've had in the last few weeks here. I still think all these guys are pretty rosterable at the moment. Defenseman Blake, talk to me about who's sticking out to you.
Yeah, I mean, I like Owen Power. I know Rasmus Dahlin he was battling a little bit of an injury. He played tonight. He looked good, or today, and he looked good. But Owen Power's been able to do stuff on power play too. I think he's got that, yeah, that sort of insurance, right? If Dahlin gets injured, Power goes up to top power play, and he's looking a lot more dangerous this year. So I do like Owen Power at 39%. I like the pickle as well, Alex Vlasic. So yeah, and a shout out to Jacob Trouba. This guy, obviously the Rangers are terrible, but Jacob Trouba rostered 45% is, I think there's an opportunity there. And not that he's going to get a ton of points, but if they have any peripheral weighting in your league, like I picked them up in kind of a couple type scoring league, right? Where there's a little bit of banger weighting and he's doing stuff. He's chipping away, right? And if he gets any points, like that's just icing on top. So I think that's a player that's interesting to me. I think he probably will get traded and maybe he can do more on another team.
That's a good note. Let's move over to goalies. Long-term plays potential here. Petr Mrazek. I've been on this guy all year, as you've heard me talk about, but yeah, definitely top of the list at the moment. Rovich Melka has had a really nice run leading into the game here today. So yeah, take what you will. Like, it wasn't the worst game of all time. 4 goals against on and made 28 saves, 32 shots in total. Wasn't the worst game. That happens against a team like Edmonton. I'm not
Yeah,
going to hold
good
that
team.
against him too much. He's still got 922 save percentage on the season, so Vejmelka has been very good this year. Connor Ingram may come back, but Vejmelka may hold on to that role longer, so that's a player that I'm still pretty interested in. Sam Montembeault squeaking under the 50% cutoff here at 49%, and he's been plenty rosterable just with the volume, and also tossing in a big shutout there not too long ago, so he mixes that in even on a team like Montreal. Charlie Lindgren does seem like Washington is going back to a true tandem. It seemed like they might give Thompson a little bit of run there, but that came to an end pretty quickly, so I'm not too mad about Charlie Lindgren there at 33% rostered. If you go sub 25% rostered for your deeper leagues, John Gibson has been getting a little bit more run
Yeah.
over Lucas Dostal. Was concerned about Dostal, so hopefully you took our advice and you moved off Dostal before Gibson came back. Well, Dostal is performing really well, and Gibson has been performing really well. He's got 919 save percentage on the season this year, so yeah, there might be something there that you might be interested in. Elvis Merzlikins had a nice game against Calgary here today. Seems to be the, like at least 60% starter
Yep.
in Columbus at the moment. Mackenzie Blackwood and Tristan Jarry, other options that are probably going to get most starts for their teams moving forward. Tristan Jarry had himself a game here
Yeah.
today
Great game.
against Boston. Just looking it up. Yeah, it was 32 shots against and only 1 goal that he allowed in win for Pittsburgh here. So maybe Jarry makes a comeback here. That could be on the docket as well. What do you think, Blake? What do you think of these goalies? Who are you most interested in?
Yeah, I mean, I like them all because we're doing 0G here, but yeah, I love your note on Tristan Jarry there. 11% roster, like he's everywhere, and that's zero risk. That's zero risk to you to pick up a guy like Tristan Jarry, and he's getting some run. And yeah, there's a really nice game today. I do like Elvis Merzlikins as well, but I like what Columbus is doing lately. So yeah, I think those are the two goalies that I'm kind of keying in on here.
For sure. All right. Heading over to the head-to-head streamer deathmatch. Honestly, Blake, I'm feeling a little cheated that Druin isn't playing. Like, Sharon Govich opened the week with a goal and then an assist. or maybe it was the other way around. Either way, he was doing stuff, and I was like, wow, this is finally the week. But yeah, it turns out Druin isn't playing at all this week, and so it's like a default win, and it just feels terrible. Like I want to actually beat you.
Yeah, it's pretty much an asterisk, Nate. I mean, we have to be real about that. So, if I lose by one, like it probably won't go into the record books, or if it does, asterisk, right? But that's fine. If you want to win that way, Nate, do you ever play against guys that are like that? Like, sure, if
Yeah,
you want to win that way, you're like,
yeah,
screw you, buddy. I want to win no matter what, because no one cares. They only care about who wins. So yeah, take the dub. That's nice. I think I remember this happened last year too, though. Like I got up
yeah.
really big and then you went on a run. So I hope that this is not the case here.
This is the start. It's all downhill from here. I believe. I have faith. I don't actually,
What a
but I'm
positive person you are.
trying to manifest my own destiny here to some extent in the head-to-head streamer deathmatch. One other thing that I'd like to manifest is that everybody watching or listening to this pod right now clicks on the link in the description and joins the Discord community. Lots of
Beautiful.
managers in there talking fantasy hockey all the time. It would also be great if we could get a like out of you, a rating, a review, a subscription, a comment. So many ways which you could interact with this podcast, and all of those do really help us out. I think, though, that's going to be all that we've got for this episode. Hopefully, it brought you some value, helped you get a little bit better at fantasy hockey today. All the advanced stats you heard today came from Natural Stat Trick, which is a terrific free resource.
Oh.
Many thanks to the fans there for supplying the music for the podcast. Be sure to check out their Spotify as well. That's it, folks. Much love.